Hey you guys, it's VA Empty Nester here. I kind of been working on a project all afternoon. My daughter actually bought this at the Ultimate Garage Sale in Hollandwald, Tennessee for $20. It was a bench that needed some work. She loved it the way it was, but she was kind enough to sell it to me. And I've kind of redone it to my own house, to my own design. I'm from Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, which I've not mentioned before. I grew up at the beach. The beach is my whole life. I have been in the mountains since 2002. I moved here after my stepdaddy died unexpectedly. I moved here to kind of help my mom just deal with the day in and day out life of being a single parent. My little sister was 7 years old when my stepfather died. And me and my ex-husband, we had 4 kids. We had no help. We were struggling both financially, emotionally, and we just thought, moving to the mountains where I was originally born. I was originally born in Norton, Virginia. Being around family would help us with day in life or whatever. Four girls. We were our marriage was rocky, to say the least. We had a big house payment. I worked 2 jobs. I was a CNA for many years. I was a CNA from when I graduated high school until I went back to school and became a respiratory therapist. Our life was very rocky. Our life was very hard. We were raising 4 kids on our own. We did not have help of family. We did not have help of daycare. It was just a move we thought we should make at the time. So when we made it, we moved to Virginia in 2002. We actually moved into my grandfather's house when we first moved here, and my grandfather was still alive. And we were kind of living in a 1-bedroom house. All of us was in 1 bedroom. My grandfather was still alive. We were trying to help him out with his daily life, and then we moved into our own place probably a year after after we moved here. We moved into a townhouse here, in the area of Appalachia, Virginia. I was working as a CNA at a hospital here. It was called St. Mary's. It's a Catholic hospital. And that's, I was working there a couple years, and I had a traumatic knee injury, which required me to have surgery on my knee in 2004. I had distal realignment surgery, which is intense. I was actually at work one day, and my kneecap actually popped out of place, and it popped into the back of my leg, and I had to have some surgery for that. So I went through extensive rehab. I could not work. I did not work for 2 years after that incident. At that time, in that time period, me and my ex-husband separated. We were working on our marriage. This was in December of 2003. In 2004, he moved out. We agreed that he needed to move somewhere else. So in 2004, we were actually living separately. So we lived separately, and in July of 2005, we were still trying to work on our marriage. We were still trying to, you know, be there for our girls, work on our marriage. July 4th, we were still working on our marriage. We actually went to a state park here and had a picnic with our girls, and I thought we were still working on our marriage. I actually went on vacation in the later part of July, and at the first of August, I realized that I was told by a family member that his best friend was actually pregnant with his child. At that point, there was no going back to the marriage, to the relationship. I filed for divorce. We were still married. We were still supposedly working on our relationship. I then moved in with my mom, who at the time, and at the time now, she's still recovering from the loss of her, of my stepfather, of her soulmate, of her lifelong companion, of the only father at this time that I have ever known. So me and my 4 girls moved in with her. I was still trying to go to school. I never gave up school. I never gave up, like, wanting to do better for myself, wanting to do better for my girls. And I knew the only way to do that was from education. Education is the only way to get out of poverty. I mean, it is the only way to pull yourself up. You can never stop. You can never feel so bad about yourself that you give up. You have to keep going. You have to pick yourself up. No matter what situation you're in, you have to pick yourself up and keep going. Do not sink. You have to swim, kind of situation. So at this point, I'm still going to school. I'm living with my mom. I start dating my husband now. I actually met him on a blind date through his cousin. You know, the town I'm from, the town that I lived in at the time, which is Appalachia, Virginia, is very small. Most people have never heard of it. But you have to keep going, especially when you have children. And if you have children and you're in a divorce, or you're in a separation, or if you're in a bad situation, you have to keep going for your children. Your children are what keeps you motivated, keep you, just going on and never giving up. And I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave this video with that. If you are a teenage mom, if you are a young mother, if you are someone who is, absolutely at your worst, you're at your lowest, you cannot give up, because your children need to see a strong, independent woman who can pull them up from any despair or any, anything that's going on. You have to be the woman that will show them how to be a strong woman, how to not let a man control your life, how not to let a man determine where you go in life. You have to be, you have to be that person, especially if you have children. You have to be that woman who you never let your children see you cry. I know that's kind of, I guess not taboo in today's world, but in 2004, 2005, you fought. You clawed your way out. You got yourself off of government assistance. You got yourself off of food stamps. You got yourself out of government housing. You did what you had to do to get your children to a better place. And I will leave that at that. But you have any women out there who feel like they cannot pull themselves up and, do what they have to do for their children. I did it. And I was a parent at 17. I was a parent at 18. I was a parent at 20. I was a parent at 21 with 4 girls at 21. You have to be able to reach beyond yourself, to reach beyond your upgrading. Your parents, you cannot blame your parents for the life you live now. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And no matter what happened in the past, your life is your life. You have to live it. You have to do what you have to do for your children and, their children. I'm now a grandmother. I do what I have. I'm hoping that what I did will encourage my grandchildren. My children, my great-grandchildren. You have to be above anything you've came before. But that's my nightly message. And I thank you guys, and I hope you all, find some strength in this video. I hope you guys, reach above yourselves. When you are in the deepest despair, when you have nothing else to live for. If you have children, you have a world full of possibilities you have to live for. Those kids are your life. You have to live for your children. Okay? Thank you. Bye.